Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Rhule had some interesting quotes this past week. Okay, and I just wanted to chat about them, give my thoughts, and get your thoughts as well in response in the comments below once the show is over. One quote that Matt Rhule had this past week, and I quote, "I expect us to make a significant jump this season at Nebraska," end quote. That's Matt Rhule. Now, if you agree with Coach Rhule and you think Nebraska is going to make a significant jump in year 2 under Coach Rhule, then smash that like button. But I got another interesting quote for you. He said, and I quote, talking about Nebraska, "This place is the perfect match for me," end quote. Again, that's Matt Rhule. And if you just love hearing Matt Rhule say that and you ain't smashed the like button yet, do it now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. I'm going to answer the question that I posed for you folks last week at the beginning of this show. No, I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts. I like to have fun on this show. A little bit silly, but ladies and gentlemen, let's get serious. Let's talk a little bit more football. But before we do, we've got a ton of shows coming up. Got a ton of shows I've just done. Okay, smash that subscribe button if you don't want to miss the content that we put out here on the Carriker Chronicles with the whole Carriker Chronicles team. And it is a team. And I love everybody, and I love the fans as well. Or if you just want to support the channel, we truly appreciate it. But here's one more thing that I've heard Coach Rhule talk about multiple times now, and that's his wife opening a business, I believe in downtown Lincoln, but in Lincoln. Okay, so that's pretty cool, and that's got to be a nice little affirmation from the head coach. But my question, and the basis of this show today, is will Nebraska make a significant jump in year 2 this fall under Coach Matt Rhule? Now, what is a significant jump? We've got to define that first. Last year, Nebraska was 5-7. Okay, to me, the bare minimum of what is at all acceptable this year is 6-6. Just the bare minimum. Okay. Now, if we flip the record and had 2 more wins than a year ago, 2 less losses, went 7-5 instead of 5-7, I got to be honest, that's good improvement, and I'd be pretty happy with that. Just a reminder, okay, we have not been ranked since 2019. Our last winning season was 2016. That was also the same year as our last bowl appearance. Just not fun, but friendly reminders. That's why I would consider that a good improvement. We're talking about a significant jump to me. When I think of a significant jump, I think of what Matt Rhule's teams, let me grab the paper I just threw on the ground here. I think of Matt Rhule's teams at Temple and Baylor, what they did there. Year 1, and Matt Rhule admittedly said his year 1s were not great at Temple and Baylor. They were 2-10 at Temple, 1-11 at Baylor. Year 2 at Temple, 6-6, an improvement of 4 wins. And at Baylor, they were 6-6, but an improvement and a jump of 5 wins. Typically, year 3 is when his teams really take off. Okay, year 3 at Temple, they had 10 wins. Year 3 at Baylor, they finished the regular season 11-1. Pretty good. But the question is, what is a significant jump? A significant jump to me is at least 3 wins, which he did better than that at both his previous tenures at Temple and Baylor. Easy for me to say. So to me, Nebraska going 8-4, adding 3 wins, take away 3 losses, is a significant jump. Okay, now I've talked about that I predicted Nebraska to go 8-4 this past season. Can't guarantee it, but it's what I did predict, in March. Now we're in April. But if you missed that, go back and check it out again. Dylan Rhule, I talked about his true potential on a recent show. Go back and check it out if you missed it. Nebraska's 5 new top impact players. Okay, check out that show if you missed it. Just so you know, this week upcoming, I will be previewing all things Nebraska spring game related. Probably going to put that out Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. As always, my gut reaction following the spring game, okay, for Nebraska, and my final analysis plus interviews the week following the spring game as well. But the question is, how likely is Nebraska to make a significant jump this year? Now, to me, I'm just going to base it off wins and losses. I'm to the point where your actions speak so loudly, and this goes for everybody in life, in my opinion. Okay, not just football, but your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear anything you say. To me, it's all about wins. No more moral victories. Over that's great at times. That time has passed, in my humble opinion. So let's light this candle. Let's break it down a little bit. The offensive line. They have 7 offensive linemen with legit starting experience in the past 152 total combined starts. That's a lot of experience, ladies and gentlemen. You look at the tight ends. Both main tight ends, Thomas Fidone, Nate Borkshire, are back. Wide receivers, they're talented, they're fast, they're athletic in that room. Okay, due to injuries, there were a lot of guys who got starting experience last year. Then you add in the 2 new transfers this year. By the way, both all-conference type players. Jamal Banks was an all-conference type player twice at Wake Forest. Isaiah Nair, before he got to Texas, was an all-conference type player at Wyoming. And they're big targets too. We're talking 6'4", 6'3" wide receivers. I mean, we got other wide receivers on this roster that are 6'4", the tight ends that I mentioned, Fedoni, Borkashire, 6'6", 6'5". These are big targets for potentially young starting quarterback. Now, running backs, we got 3 guys with starting experience. Gabe Irvin Jr., Ramir Johnson, Emmett Johnson, Dante Dowdell may be the most talented of all of them, possibly. And then Quentin Ives. We have 5 legit running backs. Now, I know Quentin's still learning, but physically the talent is there. So basically the offensive line is going to be better than a year ago. Okay, the wide receivers are going to be better than a year ago. The tight ends are going to be better. As long as the running backs are healthy at all, they'll be better. And kudos to what Emmett was able to do last year as a freshman, being a 4th-string guy and then starting. Phenomenal job. But as long as that room is healthy at all, it's going to be better. Convince me otherwise that any of those positions won't be better. All right, now, before we hop over to the defense and special teams, and I give my 3, there's 3 keys as to whether Nebraska is going to make a significant jump or not. And it really comes down to these 3 things, in my opinion. I want to give a shout out to our longtime sponsor, DPS Concrete Construction. We also have a new sponsor as well. But real quick, as you know, if you're a diesel mechanic, CDL driver, concrete finisher, looking for work in the Omaha metro area, DPS Construction is the employer for you. Jason Armstrong runs a phenomenal business. His crew does a great job. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. I also want to give a shout out, to our special new sponsor, Bonzel Pools. Now, why are they special? Because they're actually putting in my family's pool. As we go along, I will put up pictures when they break ground, and I will put up pictures of my kids in the pool, and I will put up pictures when the pool is done. Like, they are the ones putting in my family pool. You can check them out at bonzelpool.com. They have swimming pools, hot tubs, saunas, services for your pool, your hot tub. Okay, their address is 3201 Pioneer Boulevard, Lincoln, Nebraska. The phone number is 402-488-0148. We still have room for sponsorships on the website and the email list, which has over 60,000 subscribers, and social media and things of that nature. If you're interested, only if you're seriously interested in being a sponsor on this show, go to CarrikerChronicles.com. There's a contact me section. Send me a message, okay? If you are interested. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. The offense, I went through every position but one. I'll come back to that. Is going to be better at all those spots. Convince me otherwise. The defensively, we're going to be better. Are we top 10 in the country? Potentially. Top 5? Potentially. Top 15? I don't know. We'll see. Probably our biggest recruit that we got, at least for this one season, Tony White. I know he's going to have head coaching offers down the road, and hopefully we can lock him down for centuries. But he's back for this year. The whole defensive line we got depth. We've got starters coming back. The linebackers and secondary are going to be solid. We do have to figure out at least one starting linebacker, whether it's Stephen Thompson or Vincent Shavers. Stefan's got to get in shape. And right now, Vincent Shavers catching all the headlines, rightfully so. I talked about on 93.7 The Ticket when I interviewed Terrell Farley. If you missed that, go back and check it out on 93.7 The Ticket's YouTube channel. How Vincent was a little light, 205. His dad literally sent in a message 15 seconds later. Vincent Shavers Sr. said, no, he's 220. I said he was 205. His dad said he was 220 in a message. I can only go by what they're listed. I don't stand there while every player weighs themselves every week. But if Dad says he's 220, I believe Dad. All right, Malcolm Hartzog's getting a lot of reps at safety. All right, Tommy Hill, if he steps up and can start consistently, the dude's physically talented. He's so talented. He's played DB. He's played wide receiver. He's been a return guy throughout his career in college. He needs his mental game to catch up to his physical talent. And I do think that Tony White's, while his 3-3-5 scheme is very difficult to defend mentally, I think his coverage, the way his coverage scheme is a little bit simpler than what Eric Chenander did. And so it might make it a little bit more up Tommy Hill's alley, applicable to what he does and his strengths and his skill set. And maybe he'll be able to be a full-time starter at one of those DB positions this fall, potentially. But we got to find another corner at least. 6'3", Bly Hill, who was completely overlooked by a lot of folks. Okay, I should have talked about him more. But anytime there's a corner who's 6'3" with those type of intangibles and characteristics, never, ever write him off. Also, keep an eye on the young, highly touted freshman Mario Buford. There's obviously a lot of other guys coming back in that DB room as well. Now, I think it's safe to assume that defense is going to be better. Both punter and kicker are back, and if we can just return the ball at all on special teams will be better. You look at the schedule. Our first 7 games. Gone through it in a previous show. It's very realistic to be 6-1 after the first 7 games. 7-0 is possible. 5-2, we can't be worse than 5-2 after the first 7 games. You look at the last 5 games. UCLA at home, an inexperienced head coach. They're just trying to figure things out in year 1. That's a winnable game. USC, Lincoln Riley. They're basically starting over. He's admitted in year 3 in his tenure. They're really starting over like their year 1 out in Southern California. It's a road game. They're very talented. Are they going to play defense at all? Don't know what to make of that game. You look at Wisconsin and Iowa. They never out-talent us. Very rarely have as much talent as us. It's always a close game. I really just look at Ohio State as the one game where we're going to be a huge underdog. You don't know. There's 11 games that are right there for the winning, and you never write any game off, including Ohio State. But the schedule is not anywhere near as brutal as a Big Ten schedule could be. So here are my 3 keys in Nebraska making a significant jump this year. Number 1, the quarterback position. All right, can we be worse than we were last year? I don't think so. No disrespect to those guys. Appreciate Jeff Sims and his effort and everyone else who played. But as a whole, from start to end, I got to imagine we're going to be better, okay, at the quarterback position. You just never know what you're going to get out of a true freshman, okay? But last year, we probably won at least 2, maybe 3 more games a year ago with just improved play at the quarterback position, but at least 2 games, okay? And that's throughout the year as a whole. This is the biggest key / question mark of everything to me, because this impacts how much you take care of the ball. This impacts the end of games and what you can do offensively, which kind of leads into my next 2 keys. I hope I didn't undercut my own next 2 keys. But if we can run the ball, play good defense, and just have some sort of a passing game, which the wide receivers and O-line can help out with this too by getting open and protecting the quarterback, our lives would be so much easier. But here's number 2, turnovers. We are really bad, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really bad when it comes to taking care of the ball. We know that. One quick stat, then we're out. Okay, consecutive seasons without a positive turnover margin. Okay, 2 by Auburn, Michigan State, UCF, Wake Forest. 3 seasons, Arizona State, Boston College, Indiana, Kentucky, Miami, Stanford, Texas A&M. 4 seasons by Texas Tech, 5 by Virginia. And then standing alone all by ourselves in a column we don't want to be number 1 at is 7 years without a positive turnover margin is Nebraska. Now, will less quarterback runs, because Daniel and Dylan don't tend to run as much, okay? Less quarterback runs and things of that nature, will that help us take care of the ball? I've been asked that question. I've kind of pointed out, I don't know how the freshmen are going to do taking care of the ball. Maybe they're great. Maybe they're learning, as we know is going to be the case. My thought is this. As far as turnovers, better quarterback play equals less turnovers. That's by far the biggest impact when it comes to turnovers. There's other things as well. Ball carriers taking care of the ball, things of that nature. Offensive linemen blocking so guys aren't getting blindsided and cleaned up by defenders. All right. Quarterback play, turnovers, number 3, last but certainly not least, maybe the hardest, most difficult key because it's mental. Learning how to win close games and expecting to win close games instead of the opposite. Okay, now I'm just going to go through this really fast. I don't even know if this is completely up to date. I wasn't interested enough. This is the most recent stat I have when it comes to this. Nebraska, 25 one-score losses in the last 5 seasons, 16 second-half blown leads, both the most in the FBS. Again, I didn't look to see if that's updated. That was depressing enough. Okay, the good news is the first close win is the hardest. Get that first close win, and it's much easier after that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are my 3 questions for you fine folks at home. Let me know your answer in the comments below. Number 1, I believe Nebraska will make a significant jump. Obviously, I cannot guarantee this. I would never do that. But I'll be here either way, rooting for and trying my best to unbiasedly cover the Huskers as this season goes along. But let me know, do you believe Nebraska will make a significant jump this next fall in this upcoming football season? Number 2, a bit off topic, but Matt Rhule talked about tampering. Other coaches are tampering. His players are coming showing him texts from other coaches trying to take his players. Tampering. How do you believe coaches who tamper should be punished? Should be fined, suspended, loss of scholarships, and or all of the above? Let me know in the comments below. Number 3, all right, some spring game attendances that have already happened to stand out to me. Ohio State had 80,000 people at their spring game. Alabama 72, Penn State 67, Georgia 55, Florida 48, Virginia Tech 20, Tennessee 10. They are dealing with some renovation things, but Miami 1,000. Good Lord. I think my son's team might have more than that at their spring scrimmage. Wow. All right, my question is, how many people do you believe will be in the stand? Okay, what would be the attendance for Nebraska's spring game? Until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball.